y'all? It's your girl Amanda. We're back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. Now, I know y'all probably going through your podcast feeds and you see me pop up every once in a while, and y'all wonder, dang, she put on another episode again? Where has she been? Hey, life be lifing, okay? Life be lifing. So today is March 31st. It's the last day of March. Spring has sprung, but I also heard rumors of some snow. I just hope they're nothing but rumors because I don't want to deal with that. So we're here in Illinois. It's been having a lot of bad thunderstorms all day today. Weather's been kind of ugly. So hopefully when I wake up tomorrow, things will get better. I missed you guys as I always do, and I always thank y'all so much for your support. A couple life updates before we get into today's episode. I just celebrated my birthday in February. Birthday was amazing. I had a quiet birthday this year because I did the clubbing thing already. My birthday did land on a business day. It was on Monday, so of course everybody. I couldn't like have something big where we could go out and stay out all night. So I had a quiet family dinner and hung out. Had a little cupcake. Had a little cake and all that stuff. But then my brother, he just celebrated his birthday as well on the 27th of March, and he also had the same type of birthday, quiet birthday with friends and family. I also do want to make the grand announcement. We are now streaming on Amazon Music, so you could catch Thompson and Stuff on Spotify, Apple Music, uh, was it Amazon Music, and also Stitcher, Spotify for podcasters, which I think they changed the name to, and then there's another one on there, Bullhorn. Yeah, so you could catch us on there. I'm glad to have you as a listener. Thank y'all so much for the support. Again, it's like every day I log in and I see growing numbers, I see new listeners and all that stuff. So thank y'all again for all the support. Let's get into this episode because we got a lot to talk about. I got a lot on my mind because when I make my list, it's right here and it's pretty long. So let's get into it. I've been on this podcast for almost 3 years and I've covered a lot of school shootings, mass shootings, and all of that. But unfortunately, I have to open with this one. There was this mass shooting at a Christian school in Nashville, and there were 4 or 5 victims, and the youngest victims were 2 little kids who were 9 years old. My question to America is, aren't you guys tired? Because I am. I do not like to hear about children being killed. This is getting way too common. And also, I was watching a video on Instagram. It was posted by the comedian, what's his name? Earthquake. And they were saying that the Tennessee governor was like, there's nothing we can do. You are the governor, sir. You can, have some power to change the law. And it's a shame. I was watching YouTube. I don't watch the news. So I was watching YouTube and Joe Biden was on there yelling at Congress through a podium to, change to, ban assault. Like he's pushing it basically. But at the same time, it's weird because I question. There's a video of Joe Biden at a conference, and it was supposed to be about something serious, and he was talking about how much he loves ice cream. Do you guys know if that video is like really real? Because I need somebody to really send that to me because that is really eyebrow raising if he talks about his love of ice cream as something so serious, and that's very scary for our country. Um Normally a lot of people who come on their podcasts or their platforms and they say a lot about the mass shootings and stuff. I will say this. I don't like to hear about children being killed, and it's alarming as hell that no one's doing nothing about this. And also, I was on Facebook. I spend too much time on the internet. I know I really should cut back on that, but I was on Facebook and someone made a long status. It was a lot of places where a lot of mass shootings have happened. um the first one, in the very top, was Columbine. Now, Columbine happened in 1999. It's 2023 and school shootings are still continuing. And I could sit here and talk about it, but all I do every time I cover a mass shooting is I go back to that coverage of uh, Bobby Kennedy being killed, and in 1968, CBS News, Walter Cronkite, and all them people, they were talking and they were saying the same things we were saying in 2023. They need to do something about these gun laws. They need to do something about these gun laws. I probably said this again on a previous episode of this podcast. We're basically repeating ourselves from 1968, and it is a shame. It's a shame, honestly. And it was a Christian, it was a private school. And, like most of the mass shootings we've heard about were in public schools, but this was a private school. And then the little girl who was killed was the daughter of the school's pastor, and the headmaster was killed protecting the children. It's a crazy story, and I guess I'm at the point where I have to say shame on America, for not, pushing this gun law situation. I mean, we turn on the TV, mass shooting at a mall, mass shooting at a Walmart, mass shooting here, child brings gun to school, and all this stuff at this point. And I'm tired of it, and it makes me sad. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, they should ban all guns. No, I'm not saying don't ban all guns, but at least have like a very rigorous background check. Like, I mean, so, like, the background check has to be on the level of a FBI clearance. Okay. And I've known a couple people who got that, and that is rigorous. Okay. If I'm using that word right, that is rigorous. But America is home of get a free gun, because, of course, there's like gun shops, but then there's also people who buy guns underground and all that stuff. So I'm gonna have to keep saying it. Get it together, America. I think this is the power of voting. Like, people, I probably said this too on a previous episode. People aren't voting. There are legit candidates who are trying to help shape this society into progressing and making it better and safer for our future. But no, nobody wants to vote. Nobody wants to partake in their community and blah, blah, blah. So now we're stuck with these weird ass politicians who have their heads in the clouds even after tragedy have stricken, I should say. Especially that governor of Texas, because after Ulavade or Ulavidi or however you say the school, I don't want to butcher the school's name because I'm not from Texas, I don't know. And how he handled that was terribly disappointing, and I don't like it. And if I lived in the state of Texas, I would have definitely voted him out a long time ago. Okay. So I hate that I had to open with that. Prayers to everybody. I know we should say stop saying prayers, let's do more action. But I do legit send condolences and prayers to the victims' families. Um, and I will leave that there. Hopefully America get it together. Okay? Okay. The next part I want to talk about is there was rumored to be a Bernie Mac comedy album. Now, I'm from Chicago. I love Bernie Mac. I love the Bernie Mac show when it was on TV. I love Bernie Mac in The Kings of Comedy. Him downstairs, some milk and cookies. I know all the jokes, okay? So, I look forward to this. So, the comedy album, I don't think it's going to be, like, available to everybody, but it's going to be on the Kevin Hart LOL network. I think that's on Sirius. And if you guys are like thinking, oh man, I need to put Sirius in my car, I don't think it's like that anymore. It's on it's like it could be on your phone, it could be on like on your Roku or whatever. It's now like a streaming thing, and wow, has Sirius come a long way. But I'll still have to pay for it if I want it for myself. Cause see, I was catching myself asking if I could use my dad's, but he'll probably say no. But back to the Bernie Mac album. It's going to be on the Kevin Hart LOL network, and I'm worried about how the public will, react to Bernie's comedy album, because You guys gotta understand, if you were a longtime follower of Bernie Mac, he did say some things that would probably outrage today's society. So I am all for the album coming out. I love Bernie. I love his comedy. I'm sure there are people actually older than me that want to hear Bernie. So just y'all don't get outraged, okay? Don't get outraged because it's Bernie. And I don't know, those type of people are like fake woke anyway. They probably laugh at like stupid stuff secretly at home. So I can't wait to hear about that. Um T-Pain has a new album. It's covers of songs. I didn't listen to the whole album, but I have Changes Gonna Come by the cover he did for Sam Cooke, which I think was pretty awesome. It sounded clear. He didn't really use autos. Like, if you listen to T-Pain, because T-Pain came out when I was like in fifth grade, fifth or fourth grade. And I remember T-Pain just heavy on the auto tune. For this album, he's not very heavy on the auto tune, which I love, and it sounds really good. He did "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. I have that one on my Apple Music, and I also have "Change Is Gonna Come" by Sam Cooke. So those are the only two I really agree with. Everything else I really didn't pay attention to. I didn't really care for, but he killed those, and they're on there. So they're on Apple Music. So if you want to listen, take a listen. And does anybody watch this escape reality show? I've been watching the episodes, and man, has this been a lot. So there's two parts of this escape SWV story I want to cover. So first part is Tamar versus Candy. Some drama I don't understand, so probably I won't cover that as much. But Candy Burris versus Latasha Scott. Now, all I'm gonna say about this is Latasha, she kind of brought it on herself. How do you sleep at night knowing that you stole $30,000 from your sister? See, I would never. I don't believe in stealing. I don't steal from my own family. But you sat there and you, with a straight face, when your sister said, "How about when you stole my money? You know you can still go to jail." And ever since that came out, that scene, that was the first episode of the show. The show came out like 3 weeks ago for the first time. And 3 weeks ago, that episode came out. And it's been downhill for Miss Latasha. She was supposed to have a gospel album come out. I think she has a single on YouTube. She had a video and all that stuff. And I kind of side with Tamika, the sister, Tamika Scott, that, I'm not going to support anything. And Tamika, like, I think yesterday or the day before, she brought out receipts that she really did it. So it's like, dang, I don't want to say it's over for Latasha, but Latasha is in some super hot hell water. Let's just say that. Then they released the episode of the next week's episode, or this coming Sunday's episode, that they what's the name? They reconcile, but again, it's reality TV, and reality TV isn't what it was when I was a kid. We had Real World and MTV Cribs, where they actually showed where the hell people lived. And in this day and age with social media and stuff, I don't understand why they have a TV show like MTV Cribs, because they show what you got in your house. Like, I get older. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to really have a lot of company in my house, except the friends my mom really knows. And then I got older and I learned that, like, you can't have everybody in your house. So I still watch Cribs, but I still have that ideology, like, oh, you really cannot have everybody in your house. So I don't think Tamika really talks to her sister. The Escape actually tours now as a trio, then quartet, so she's not really at the concerts anymore. So I guess, it would make sense if they kind of vote Latasha out after all she's done, all the negative attention that has been brought to Escape. And then Candy Burris is also fighting with Tamar Braxton about something that happened at a concert. Also, Congratulations to Tamar Braxton and Evelyn Lozada. They're engaged. Um, if y'all really pay attention to blogs, they were saying that Tamar Braxton's been engaged since to this man, and we don't know. Look, Tamar been with that man, okay? I think she moved back to Atlanta and she was been with him, but I think they did the show, but now they're engaged. Evelyn Lozada, I didn't even know she had a boyfriend. I swear to y'all, I didn't even know she had a boyfriend. So congratulations to them, and yeah, I hope that whole escape thing kind of dies down and they vote Latasha. I'm not saying like, oh, I hope it doesn't end well for Latasha. I'm not saying that, but we've been told this our whole lives. There is consequences to your actions, and what she did to her sister legally, yeah, that's some big consequences. But in my opinion, in talks of family, there's consequences in that too. So yeah. And did y'all also hear that Trump has been indicted? I'm not sure. I think it's from what he did in 2016 or something. But yeah, he's indicted, and people are saying it's gonna be hell and blah blah blah. The only hell that's going down is the hell in the minds of MAGA supporters, because I think they're the only ones thinking that it's gonna be like Godzilla in these towns. It's really not. I think everything's gonna be normal. I think as a country we can kind of take a deep breath knowing that he's gonna be too busy being in jail to run again for president. So y'all better calm down on that, because you conspiracy theorists and all that stuff, y'all are getting so weird to me, honest to God. So I'm gonna say that. Did anybody catch that Jared Fogle documentary on ID channel? So if you guys don't remember, Jared Fogle is this was he's in prison now. He was the spokesman for Subway back in like the 90s and early 2000s. And you know what's crazy, y'all? Jared Fogle kind of looked like the Verizon guy who switched over to Sprint. But does anybody know where that guy is now? Because there's no more Sprint. Did he switch over to T-Mobile? Like, I don't know, but I used to get them mixed up a lot. But there was a documentary on Jared Fogle, and let's just say that documentary was so crazy. I no longer support Subway. I will no longer step in a Subway. And growing up for me, like, Subway was convenient. My mom used to take me to Subway if I wanted a sandwich, if I was going on a field trip or something the next day, or I was going to work and I needed something to eat and have food in the house because nobody went grocery shopping. Stop at Subway, get a quick sandwich. Now, since I'm so anti Subway, I have to go to Jersey Mike's, or go to the regular grocery store and buy a regular sandwich, or buy like some hot food and just reheat it in the whatever. But yeah, it's Subway really dropped the ball on that one, I think. And what happened in the documentary was basically Jared met this woman. She was in broadcasting down in Florida, and they kind of formed a friendship. Like a friendship. And then I forgot how it went, but basically she started recording Jared of him talking about his desires, and I'm saying this with a turned stomach, his desires with children and all that stuff. And she basically submitted it to the feds, and they basically told her that, hey, you're committing a crime, you're recording someone that's with no consent, that's illegal, blah blah blah. But in the back of my mind, I said, bump that, dude. Do you hear these tapes? Like, he's trying to do grown up things to little children who are not even going through puberty. Like, doesn't this alarm you? But in the end, I forgot her name. Her name is Rochelle. I forgot her last name, but her name is Rochelle. And basically, she was kind of collaborating with the feds and dropping off tapes and all that stuff. And in the end, obviously, we know what happened. Jared is now in prison. He's in prison for 15 years. And I assume, since this is a kind of a sex offender crime. He's going to be on the list, the sex offender list for the rest of his life. And yeah, I no longer eat at Subway. So Jersey Mike's me. I'm from Illinois, so we got Mr. Subs, grocery store, anything but Subway. Because how do you did they not? Well, I don't know, because he was the spokesperson in the 90s. We didn't have the technology like we did in the 90s to do background checks, at least to my knowledge. Probably did, I don't know, but it took them a while to kind of drop Jared. So shame on Subway, and y'all just lost a customer, so whatever. um Larsa Pippen confirms Michael Jordan's son, Marcus Jordan. She confirmed their relationship, even though she said they're just friends. Girl, we been knew y'all was messing around. But then, did y'all know she had the nerve to go on the Real Housewives of Miami reunion, say how I used to have sex with Scotty 4 times a night, uh, like every 4 times a night, every night. Now, let me break this down. Larsa is about 48. She was married to Scotty for 23 years. She married Scotty pretty young. She's 10 years younger than Scotty. So, okay, so I assume she had her period and all that. So you mean to tell me, Larsa, that when you was on your cycle, in birth control or not, you still bleed? You messed with him when you was on your cycle? After you had his kids? Even nights you didn't, cold, all that, like the same thing people were saying in the comments. You were messing around with him through all that. That's weird. But then again, like the vagina is kind of like it snaps back, if I can say that term. Now, me, I can't do it. I've had plenty boyfriends, and um, we only, I never lived with any of my boyfriends. So, um, when I would go see them, of course we would, but we would do it at least 3 times, and then I wouldn't see them for another week or so. So, of course, if I could handle that, what makes you think she could have? But you know what? Let me stab these people business, because, girl, I mean, I hope Mark is doing all right with it, but moving on. So there is news that Suge Knight is trying to do like a BMF style show on his life. Now, while I am for it, because I am a big Death Row Records fan, we need, and I should say that this should be covered very briefly if this show goes past 1 season. We need a full Death Row story. Now, I'm not talking about Straight Outta Compton. I'm not talking about All Eyes on Me. I'm not talking about none of that. We need a Death Row story when it starts with Harry O and Suge Knight and Dr. Dre. And let's not forget the third member, the third owner, the DLC. We need that story. We need the backstories of those people. I mean, I understand we have the backstory of Dr. Dre and all that stuff with Straight Compton. We need a little bit more. We need that story. Now, I don't mind the Suge Knight story, because, of course, Suge Knight made millions of dollars back in the day. Okay, great. He made Black History. Congratulations. But we need that story. We need the beginning, the rise, the reign, the downfall, the death of the company. And then maybe, down the line, if it's greenlit, maybe we can have like the resurrection of Death Row with Snoop. That's what we need. I mean, Suge Knight, yeah, okay. He had a story too. Grew up in Compton, went to University of North of Las Vegas, and all that stuff. But we need more so that story, because at the end we kind of know what happened with the story of Suge Knight. He's in prison for 28 years. So, um, we'll see. I mean, it's shopping. It doesn't even have a network yet, so we'll see how that ends. And lastly, for this section of news, well, I actually have 2 more stories. Eva Marcel is getting a divorce. I am shocked because her husband Michael, I watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they seem like a good, I don't want to say perfect couple because there is no such thing as a perfect couple. But I will say they look like a good put together couple. Like they have their stuff together. They don't seem like they have a lot of dirt going on or none of that. But, Michael, he did publicly vow to, say, I'm going to get my wife back. So I don't want to assume, but it sounded like Michael did something and she said their marriage is irrelevantly broken and all that stuff. Or it just could be like a reaction filing. I mean, that stuff happens all the time, and they end up withdrawing the papers and they get back together. So we'll see how that one plays out. But also, speaking of Real Housewives divorce, if I can't talk about Eva, I have to talk about Ralph and Drew are getting a divorce. But to be honest, they had some problems. It was very obvious on the show. I mean, who the hell goes to Tampa and not tell their wife and bring their assistant? It just looks like a big mess. Oh yeah, Real Housewives of Atlanta is coming back in May, so we'll see how that plays out. And lastly, for this section, my baby DJ Quick has a new song out, so make sure y'all go stream Class. It's a great, great, dope new single from Quick. Gives me Curtis Mayfield vibes, honestly. He does love Curtis Mayfield, so make sure y'all stream that. It's dope. It's so quick, and it also I read a interview today that it might be his last album. Can't live without my DJ Quick, so it better not be the last album. Okay, all right. Before I continue, I do want to send a congratulations out to Lindsay Lohan. She announced that her and her husband, forgot his name, but she married a nice guy and she changed her life and all that. They announced that they are pregnant. Now, congratulations. If I had like a clap sound or something, I would insert it. But at the same time, this is kind of stressful because this is how I know I'm getting old. Lindsay Lohan is pregnant. I remember when Lindsay Lohan was a little girl and the Parent Trap, because again, if I ever said this on this podcast before, my cousin Tiffany, she made me watch all the Disney movies, Parent Trap, what the freaking Passport to Paris. I don't know. I don't no Passport to Paris is not a Disney movie. Um, it was the Parent Trap, Baby Genius. I don't even know if that was a Disney movie. All those types of movies. Okay, now I watched Freaky Friday. I watched Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. I watched all that. She had me watching all that. That was my childhood. And now Lindsay, she went out, went crazy, did all this stuff, went to jail, cried to her lawyer, this isn't fair, I'm going to jail, went to jail, all that stuff. Now she's pregnant. Dang, where did the time go? But at the same time, congratulations to Lindsay because these past few years, probably since 2014, 15, no, because she had that documentary with Oprah in like 2000, like the mid 2010s. So I would probably say 2017, 2018. She's kind of been turning her life around. So good for her. She got married to a good man. I think she moved out of America and is trying to come back to America because she's been filming movies. Like she's done Lifetime movies, and I used to think if you do a Lifetime movie, then your life, like your career, is over. But actually, no, because if y'all don't know, like Giselle, what's her name? Garcelle. Why do I not know Garcelle? And I grew up watching her on TV. Garcelle Bouvet, she did a couple Lifetime movies, and you guys obviously see her on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Tisha Campbell Martin, we all know as Gina from Martin. Her career is back skyrocketing. She's doing a lot of movies. And then also the young lady from Selling Sunset, Chrishell. Chrishell is like a big star now too, and I follow her on Instagram. She's also doing Lifetime movies. But congratulations to you, Lindsay. I hope you have a very healthy pregnancy. And I'm getting old because Lindsay Lohan is married with kids and I'm not. But no hateration there, okay? Okay. Um, I didn't mention this before when I was talking about Suge Knight, but the Death Row catalog is back on digital streaming platforms. So, as you guys know, I am an Apple Music user. So they do have, dog food on there. They have doggy style on there. But I do have like a one complaint, and I don't know if you guys kind of noticed this, but I guess because I have such an ear for production and music and all that stuff. Some of the doggy style songs like Gin and Juice and What's My Name, some of the percussions, if I use that term right, or the instruments in the background didn't sound right. So I hope whoever kind of engineered that or re-engineered that, can you please take it down for like a couple hours and tweak it and make it better and then put it back up. That's all I ask. That's the only thing I complain about because I'm very happy I got the playlist back. Also, I was in the car today and I realized that they added that one Death Row album. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a Death Row album. It had a lot of remixes on it. And it was a 2 disc. I had the actual CD at one point, but I sold it. I can't believe I did. But that album is on there as well. All of Snoop stuff, Dr. Dre's. The Chronic's been on there since like my birthday, so that's on there. I mean, God, the now that I think about it, the Death Row in its reign catalog, like it's pretty small. It's not a lot of it. But it's all there and it's all ready to be streamed because I think Snoop he signed some sort of deal for it to be back on there. So thank you, Snoop, and thank God that he didn't go through with that whole like app because I already pay enough for Apple Music. I don't want to pay another like $6, $7, $8, $9 to have another app just so I can hear Tupac and the Dog Pound and all that stuff. So thank you, Uncle Snoop, very much for saving all of us money and keeping it all on one platform. um, did you guys hear also that Tyler Perry and Byron Allen are talking into buying BET, but also is Diddy? And I am all for all three of those men purchasing BET. Let's break it down. Diddy. Start with Diddy. Diddy already has a channel, Revolt, right? What's on Revolt? Well, The Breakfast Club used to be on Revolt, but then they transferred to BET. Also, Drink Champs. Drink Champs is very popular with Nori and DJ EFN, and people do watch that. I watch it. And Drink Champs do have great artists on there and great interviews. And I think how Diddy runs Revolt, it's kind of shaky, but he knows what he's doing, if that makes sense. Tyler Perry, it would make sense for him to buy BET because he already has original content on there and also on BET Plus, and he has some sort of big stake in it anyway. He could be like the content bringer, if I can say that. He's done well with the Oprah Winfrey Network. I think that should show us something. We all loved If Loving You Was Wrong and what was that other one? For Better or for Worse. Was For Better or for Worse was the best comedy sitcom on there. And of course we know the plays, the movies and all that stuff. So the potential is there. Lastly, Byron Allen. Need I say more? Very rich black man, knows the game and the TV game, all that stuff. So I'm all for that. I am truly all for it. So this story came out some time ago. I wanted to talk about this for the longest time, and I'm actually glad I'm at this part of the show to talk about it. Now, you guys know I kind of grew up in the church. I believe in God. I celebrate God. I thank God for all that He's given to me, all that stuff. But this is my podcast. This is my opinion, and I don't care what y'all think. But at the same time, I hope I don't offend from nobody. CeCe Winans. We all know who CeCe Winans is, right? She's a part of the famous Winans family, BB Winans' sister and collaborator. And if you watch Greenleaf, she is the aunt or the cousin or relative of Deborah Joy Winans, who plays Charity Greenleaf. Now, Cece Winans, there was a video that resurfaced, and Cece Winans basically said that Whitney Houston's "I'm Every Woman" was demonic. Let's break this down, shall we? Because there is a such thing as being too saved and too in overly religious, and sometimes I'm not a fan of those type of people. But let me explain. There was like an old video, and the way the quality was set up, this was probably from like the late 2000s, probably mid 2010s. And basically, she was telling the story of how Whitney invited Cece onto the set of "I'm Every Woman," but Cece wouldn't be on in the video because when you first turn on "I'm Every Woman," the first line is, "I can cast a spell, sick and you can tell." That. Okay. Cece. Whitney did not write that song. So you cannot hold Whitney, kind of punish Whitney for that. That's Shaka Khan's song. So if you want to hold someone accountable, hold Shaka Khan. But your friend just asked you to be in the video. Now I understand. At the same time, I think they're members of the Kojic Church or something, and they're very religious. Or is that the Clark sisters? I don't know, but still, your friend wanted you to be in the video, and it's not her lyric. So why are you punishing her about that? But video was still fabulous. And Whitney was pregnant in that video, and she was just dancing and getting it and all that stuff. But that just bothered me. Like, you can't hold and the fact that she told this story so many years later, or maybe she did told the story like a couple years after she died. I don't know where the video came from. But basically my point is she held Whitney accountable for something that was kind of not her control. I mean, she covered the song, yes, but she didn't write it. Like, okay, like, dude, Miss Cece, she didn't write the song, and you could have still made like a quick appearance or something, and I'm sure you wouldn't be punished for it by the church. Or it just bothered me as a whole. It is what it is. Did anyone see the Chris Rock stand-up special? It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't, bigger and blacker status, or big ass jokes, or bring the pain. But it was okay. But it also made history. So the Netflix, we know, if a new season of a show comes out, or the new stand-up special or new movie come out, what do we all do? We all wait until 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. So this special was actually live, and they did a good job for it to be live. I know a lot of people are kind of questioning, this isn't live, this is pre-recorded and all that stuff. But it was live. The jokes were okay. He did open up about the Will Smith slap. The jokes were okay, but except for that part, the jokes were meager. And the ending was very extremely meager. He said, "Why didn't you hit Will Smith for something?" And he said, "Because I have parents, and I was taught not to fight in front of white people." I was waiting for like another part of the joke to come up, but then he dropped the mic, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, that's it. Like, that's it. That's all. I think I'm getting to a point where Chris Rock just probably needs to hang up the. Do a couple more specials. Do some like working out with what the comedians do. They go to the little cellar rooms and they work out. Their jokes and stuff. I think he needs to do that. Put out a couple more specials and then retire. I think it's we all see Chris Rock. He's doing TV shows, he's doing movies, he's doing less and less stand up. So I think it's time for him to hang it up. And you see what Steve Harvey's going through after he retired from stand up. He had his last special, which was in Vegas, which was really funny actually. It was for pay-per-view, but somehow, some way people hook us up and they bootlegged it, they put it on YouTube, and I watched it. Hilarious. It was hilarious. So Yeah, Chris Rock just needs to. I think he's almost to that point where he needs to hang it up and just focus on other endeavors. He's a talented actor. He's a talented writer, screenwriter, TV show writer. I think he should focus on that more than having a stand-up special, which made absolutely no sense. And I think Netflix should do the whole live event thing more, because that way we don't have to wait until 12 o'clock midnight. And sometimes they do put out content where it comes out midnight on a night where, we have to get up early, or, it comes out midnight Friday nights, and we've all of us had a day and we've been ripping and running all day long. We don't want to, you know what I mean? So they should start doing that more. They'll probably have more viewers and all that stuff. And always, if you miss it, it's still there. I mean, what's the name of the special? It's called uh Selective Outrage. It's still on Netflix, and it still looks like when it was live. So yeah, I mean, Netflix, hello, it's an idea, just an idea. Speaking of ideas, what gave Miss Jane, who is Aaron Carter's mother, the idea of putting her son's death scene photos online? I don't know why she would do that. I mean, as a mother to her son who's deceased, now she has two deceased children, by the way. There's Aaron, and then their sister, I forgot her name, Leslie. Aaron and Leslie, they're both gone now. I don't know what made her put up the pictures of the death scene at Aaron's house in Lancaster. It was very disturbing to see. Um, Most of the photos was just basically clothes on the floor, water on the floor, but then she posted one photo. It was a picture of Aaron's tub, and it was filled with yellowish like fluid. You would think it was pee, but it was actually fluid from Aaron's body because he was in the tub for some time until he was found. She thinks that the scene was a murder scene. Um, I don't. I've covered Aaron's death on this podcast before. It's not been revealed what killed Aaron exactly. A toxicology reports, as we all know, do take a very long time. Do I think it was a drug overdose? It's a possibility. Also, you got to keep in mind, Aaron was very skinny. Aaron did have a lot of issues. He was on a lot of medications, so it could have been anything, or he just could have had a heart attack, but I can't assume that. And I don't know Aaron. I never met, I've spoken to him on the phone, but I don't know Aaron. But I just don't understand why his mom would release the crime scene photos, especially as she's grieving. It could, traumatize the family. Also, this day and age of the internet, Aaron has a little son. His name is Prince, and he's now in the custody of his mother, Melanie. And the thing is about photography and internet these days, it's around forever. Like, if there's pictures of Tupac's autopsy on the internet from 25, 26, 27 years ago, those photos of his father's death scene are going to be there. And then one day he's going to grow up, and Google is going to be so overly accessible. You think Google's going to be accessible at how accessible it is? You could type in boobs, you could still see bare boobs or whatever. I have a feeling that, you know, we are outraged about the net neutrality, but maybe one day, if again, we vote in some very young politicians and people and candidates and stuff, they're gonna probably throw that out, and everything was just gonna be on the internet. You think a lot was on the internet now? Everything is gonna be on the internet when that child gets older. It's probably to my age, and he's gonna see it, and it's going to very well traumatize him because he's still going to carry around that grief of not having his father. So I really wish she would not have done that. I don't know if she thought about the effects of her family and her kids and her grandkids and stuff, but what a shame. Also, if you guys remember the show Sweetie Pies from OWN Network, from Miss Robbie and Tim Norman and all them. So I guess that case is now wrapped up. So Tim Norman has been sentenced to life for basically arranging the murder of his nephew Andre, young Andre, who's in the show as well. I also heard that the lady who was a part of the whole thing, she was a stripper and all that. She's free now. I don't know if that's true, but I heard she was free and she got 3 years in prison. The insurance guy who used to be Nelly's producer, I don't remember his name, Yasael, Yasael. He's involved. I think he got like a, a small amount, probably 5 to 20. Between the numbers between 5 and 20. I don't know for sure, but he's got sentenced. But Tim has life. And if you guys, and it's a shame because I honestly think Tim did not live a full free life because you guys have to remember, Tim spent most of his youth years in prison for armed robbery, and then he got out, and then he helped his mom open restaurants, and yeah, and then now he's back in prison for life. So he never had a real chance to live, and it's a shame. It's really a shame over some insurance money, and that's why money is kind of the root of all evil. And you kill your family over it. That's shameful. Eric Holder, who is the murderer of Nipsey Hussle, who actually still 11:30. So the 4 year anniversary of Nipsey Hussle's death is today or tomorrow. I'm not sure, but we're very close to that day. Eric Holder killed Nipsey Hussle right in the parking lot of his store, the Marathon. He was arrested probably a few days after, and he's been sitting in jail 4 years. Now he has been sentenced to 60 years in prison. Um, I don't want to sit here and say that's not enough, but I you killed someone's father, you killed someone's brother, you killed someone's son, you killed someone's grandson, you killed someone's partner, and you get 60 years. But then again, Eric Holder is probably about 30 something. So by the time he gets out, he'll be like 90 something. So, but you never know because, people do live till they're 90. But I just think that to some, that wasn't enough to maybe his family thinks that that wasn't enough. And yes, Eric Holder is sentenced to 60 years in prison for the murder of Nipsey Hussle. And speaking of prison, R. Kelly, if you did not hear the news, R. Kelly was sentenced to an additional year, so it'll be added to his 30-year sentence due to, I think, a sexual assault case in Minnesota or New York. It was added to his 30-year sentence. But R. Kelly is having some health complications in jail. It was recently revealed by his lawyer that he had surgery due to a blood clot. So I don't know what to say about that. I mean, what a shame, you know. Uh, Thankfully, he did get some medical attention, but hey, R. Kelly, you're not getting out anytime soon because I think he still has pending cases against him. So yeah, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm so sorry to tell y'all that. So, yeah. So here in Chicago, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, if you are in other parts of the country, but Chicago is having their mayoral race right now, and I can report there's not an official winner for the city, but I can report that Lori Lightfoot has lost and she's out of the race. And honestly, I'm not surprised because Lori, to me, and I didn't vote for her, um, she wasn't the best mayor. She did make history of being, one of the black mayors of Chicago, being the first openly gay mayor of Chicago. That's great. But she wasn't a great mayor by some of the decisions she's made, by some of the things she's done. One of the things that really stood out to me, but this goes both ways because, again, single parents don't have options with babysitters and all that stuff. I did talk about this before, where she opened up schools in during the midst of the pandemic. When it was really bad and everybody was dropping off like flies. But again, a lot of single mothers, not a lot of resources, so I kind of understood, but at the same time, how the world was operating at the time. It was very scary, honestly. And also, she kind of did corny things to keep, the crime off the streets, which didn't work. And then also there were protesters outside her house. Who the hell would want protesters outside their house? So she wasn't a great mayor. So I mean, now it's what's his name? Andrew Johnson, Mr. Johnson, right? Brandon Johnson. I forgot his name. He's a young man. I don't know if Dr. Willie is in running. He was the guy that actually hooked up most gas stations in the city with free gas during the pandemic as well. I'm not sure if he's still running, but I wouldn't be surprised if he still was, because of that. That was pretty awesome, because I've never heard of anybody doing that in my life growing up. Again, I don't live in the city, but I've seen it all. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen, turkey giveaways. I've seen toy drives, but gas giveaways, never seen that. So I will keep an eye out on that race, who officially wins. Hopefully somebody young. Chicago is a older city, and we might need some new young blood in office. Bringing new ideas to the city. Snowfall is having their final season, so we are about 2 or 3 episodes away from the final season. If you have not seen any episodes of Snowfall, if you have not started, it comes on FX. If you do not have cable, they do stream the episodes on Hulu the day after, so no excuse not to watch it. But if you haven't seen it, fast forward, because I'm going to drop some spoilers. So when I was talking about probably over the summer what I wanted to see in this episode, I was thinking that Franklin and Sissy were going to work together. And I was honestly way off, because rest in peace to Uncle Jerome, who is the brother of Sissy. And I watched the last episode, and she is pissed with Franklin because her brother is dead. Louie is pissed with Franklin because her husband is dead. So because Uncle Jerome is dead, what I assume will happen for the rest of the season or series, because it is the final episode, I think that the last episode is going to have a big kaboom. I don't think nobody's going to die, but it's going to have a big kaboom. So Leon and Wanda, they came back from Africa. I don't think they're going to come back. I thought they were going to get out, but I don't think so, because news came out that Gail Bean. Hi, Gail. Sorry. Gail Bean, who plays Wanda, she's going to have her own spinoff from Snowfall. So I would assume that spinoff would be about her life in the 90s and all that stuff. Leon might or might not be in there. I don't know. They didn't really say. But I think it's going to be a big kaboom at the end of on the last episode of Snowfall. And I'm sad that it's ending, but it needs to end, because of course it centers around the crack epidemic, and we all know the crack epidemic was in the 80s, and then the 90s. I don't know what drug epidemic that was. I'll have to ask and see. And I was born in 95, so the most important, or not important, but the most talked about drug epidemic around me was opioids. So, and that was when I was a teenager. So we'll see about that. Prayers to Jimmy Carter. President Jimmy Carter is in hospice, and we all know what that means when someone's in hospice. So prayers to him. He's a very humble president, honestly. After his time in the White House, he moved back to Georgia in his house that he built. Been with his wife for so many years. He's lived a great life, honestly. I don't know any of his policies. I wasn't born when he was president, but he is currently in hospice. So prayers to him. And congratulations to the brat. She is pregnant with her and Judy's first baby together. And I think it's her first baby as well. But I also want to express my disappointment in the comments whenever social media does speak on this couple. They are a beautiful couple. And I don't understand why you people who bring the Bible into it just say congratulations and keep it moving. Okay? Uh, don't treat them like they don't believe in God. The brat is very religious. She's very into her religion and all that stuff. So I just don't understand the down talking and, oh, this is an abomination, and I don't I hated seeing that. Okay, perhaps probably half of y'all don't even read the Bible, but once you see that, all of a sudden you got outraged. So what a shame. God made us the way He made us, and shame on you. I'm happy for them, and I hope their baby is happy and healthy when it's born. So there. And also, I do want to send a congratulations, or I'm sorry, not a congratulations. Well, yeah, congratulations. Somebody got married. I forgot who got married, but someone got married close to me, so it's not famous, so that's why I don't remember their name. But congratulations to them. There's your shout out. Um, Rest in peace. I always want to end with my rest in peace. First, rest in peace to Richard Belzer. He played the detective on Law and Order. He passed away. I think he had cancer. He was 79 years old. And if you guys did not know, or you're not a real film movie buff, he did play the stand-up comedian on Scarface. So if you ever watch Scarface, he is the comedian there. I also want to send a rest in peace to Sean Lampkins. If you do not know who that is, Sean Lampkins played Nipsey on Martin. I was watching Martin the other night, and he told Nipsey he looked like a sack of groceries. I laughed so hard when you said that. But rest in peace. He's actually Martin's real life childhood friend. So I know Martin is really going through it with that one. And lastly, rest in peace to Bobby Caldwell. Bobby Caldwell played that, or he made the song "What You Won't Do, Do for Love," which was famously sampled by Tupac for "Do for Love" on his posthumous album "Are You Still Down." He passed away. I think he had some sort of cancer or something, but it was announced he passed away at, I think he was like 80, 79, 80 years old. So yeah, and that's the end of the episode of Thompson and Stuff. Again, I thank y'all so much for your support. You can listen on all your favorite platforms. You can follow me on Instagram, _Marie_Son_of_Tom. You can follow me on Twitter, _Marie_Son_of_T. Follow me on TikTok, Amanda Marty S1. I do have a Snapchat. I don't use it, so I'm not gonna give it out. But again, y'all, thank y'all so much for your support, and stay safe out there. Happy Easter. Easter is next week. So my advice to y'all, Uber to church or get there early to get a parking. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Peace.